besties, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. So today's video is super exciting because I'm finally trying out the new Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty blush wands. So I only got the 3 lighter shades since there is a deeper, more reddish color that would look beautiful on deeper skin, but it's just not my cup of tea. In this video I try these all on my face and show you the application, and then I include a few comparisons to some other blushes I have in my collection. So if you want to see that, then just keep on watching. But before I get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And let's just get right into the video. Okay, let's swatch these 3 on my hands first. First I'm going to swatch Pillowtalk, and the one comes like this, so you want to unlock it first. So you can unlock the tip and also relock it, like if you're traveling or something. So I'm going to squeeze some product out, and then I usually relock it right after. I think I squeezed out too much, but that's Pillowtalk. It's more of like a mauvey brown shade. Then here's Pink Pop, which I've already used once, just to test it out. I'm going to try to swatch it like this. So the thing is, Pink Pop is actually quite peachy. It's definitely a peachy pink. Definitely not as pink as I expected. I would say it's even more like peachy than the packaging. We also have a Peach Pop, and this one is a bit more orange. So yeah, this one is very orange. It's also a bit more saturated than Pink Pop. So these are the 3 shades that I have. To be honest, I'm kind of shocked that the Pink Pop isn't that pink. Like, it's definitely a peach. And also you'll notice, since I'm moving my hand, that they're all very shiny. So the texture is kind of like an oily type of serum texture. But as you can see, that makes it like very easy to blend out. And it seems to be like maintaining its opacity like very nicely. Like, seems like a very blendable type of formula. But as you can see, the more I blend it, the more of that matte finish comes out. It dries down to more of like a matte powdery finish. So we're gonna apply these on my cheeks and you'll see what I mean. But these are what the 3 look like just by themselves. And right off the bat, these are really reminding me of the Rare Beauty blushes, especially I guess like the matte formulation, where it kind of looks dewy when you first apply it, but then it dries down. But it doesn't dry down to like a drying matte. It's definitely kind of like a soft matte finish. And yeah, I'm gonna compare some of the shades in my comparisons later, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, let's first try this Pillowtalk shade on my face. I'm just gonna put 2 dots like that because I'm not sure how pigmented it is. Okay, so right off the bat, blends super easily. Like, it basically blended itself. I will say it definitely is less pigmented than the Rare Beauty. As you saw, this Pillowtalk color is actually like relatively medium to deep, I would say, but I can put like multiple dots on my cheek and it doesn't like overwhelm my face, whereas with the Rare Beauty one, that would be too much. So I feel like this actually has a quite nice level of pigmentation. Like, it starts off sheerer, but it's definitely buildable. Because I don't like those blushes where it's like so sheer that like you have to layer it up a lot and build like a thick layer on your face to get the pigment. But on the other hand, it's still less pigmented and I would say easier to work with than the Rare Beauty ones. So this is like more of a middle ground type of blush. Oh my gosh, that color is gorgeous. It's definitely like that nudie brownie mauve shade. It is a bit deeper than the Pillowtalk lipstick, I would say. The Pillowtalk lipstick is more of like a pinky nude, and this definitely has like more brown and mauve to it. It gives that beautiful like kind of sun-kissed effect. Love that shade. Oh, also the swatches on my hand are starting to dry down, so you can see that they're way less shiny. The top one is still shiny because I did an accidentally really thick swatch, but you can see the bottom 2, they kind of set down and there's no more shine to them. So that's kind of showing you how it dries down on the skin. I feel like it kind of blurred the skin here. Like, it's kind of starting to set down, like especially the pores around this center area compared to this side. I feel like it's having like that soft blur matte finish. So that's gorgeous. But as I said earlier, it's not like that dry down, like suck your skin dry kind of matte. It's more of a natural matte finish is what I'm trying to say. It's not like zero shine. And especially if you use like a glowier base like I did today, like I'm using the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. As you can see, on this side is glowy and on this side it still looks a little bit glowy. So now on to Peach Pop. So I actually think this is probably my least favorite shade, just because it's actually really orange. I think a little bit more orange than what I was expecting. Like, it's pretty much just straight up orange on me. Maybe on a deeper skin tone it would look a little bit more peachy. This tends to happen with a lot of peaches though, for me. So if that happens for you, just letting you know. It is pretty though, like once I'm blending it out, and you can see how quickly and easily that blended out. So this is the pigmentation from a few dots. I like that you don't have to be too careful with this. So that's Peach Pop. It's quite orange on me. It looked kind of crazy at first, but once I blended it out, I kind of like it how it looks better. Definitely would look better with warm tone looks. This would be really pretty in the summer, I think. Okay, and hopefully you guys can tell that this side has like dried down more to a more matte finish, but it still has like that teensy bit of glow that's like from the foundation peeking through. So it would definitely depend on the finish of your foundation that you put, but I like that it's kind of like a more malleable formula. Let me know which shade you like better. I think between these 2, I like Pillowtalk, but I think it just depends on your preferences. So I'm just gonna remove both of these so we can try out the last shade. Okay, so now I'm back with a blank canvas, and I also changed the lip because I felt like it was gonna clash with this blush color. Also, just so you know, like removing these swatches was actually pretty difficult. Like I had to like scrub my hand with the makeup remover, and you can still like kind of see them. So I feel like that means that this is like a really long lasting formula. Like I don't think you have to worry about it fading throughout the day. So let's just apply this. So this Pink Pop shade is definitely the lightest shade. Like it has a lot more white in the base. So I would definitely recommend this more for like light, like fair to light skin. So this really reminded me of Rare Beauty's Bliss shade. So I'm gonna compare that later. But yeah, as you can see, like it blends super easily and seamlessly. And at first it looks kind of dewy, but we'll wait for it to set. But you can see how I applied quite a few dots and it's still like a very light, fresh kind of look. I think fair skin tone people would really like this just because it's really hard to like overdo this shade, but it does have a good amount of pigment, I would say. It's just that the pigment is quite white based. Like as you can see, I'm going in with the second layer and it definitely like made it a lot rosier. It's a lot more prominent on my cheeks now. So I do like the buildability of these. They definitely layer upon themselves pretty well. And yeah, no patching, no like any issues. Also, I'm really satisfied with like the dry down time of these. I feel like it's relatively long, so you do have a good amount of time to work with these before they start to set down. Because once they set down, like they ain't going anywhere. But I like that there's enough like play time with these so you don't have to like work super fast to get it blended out before it dries. And then actually for this side, I'm gonna try something different. So I wanna see how these work on a set base. So I haven't set this yet. So I'm just taking this Huda Beauty powder and we're gonna lightly set the cheeks. Now I have a feeling that this is not gonna work very well over a set base. Like so far I've done it over unset cheeks, zero problems. Just given the formula, because when I feel it like on my hands and when I first apply it on my cheeks as well, it is a very like dewy, kind of almost oily consistency. Not in a bad way, but it's more of like a serum type of texture at first before it dries. So I just can tell that I feel like that's not gonna mesh super well with powder. But we're gonna try for anybody out there who really likes to set their entire face. I almost never set like my cheek area. I only set in my T-zone and under my eyes, which kind of usually like blends into the cheeks, but it's like I try to keep it like very close to here. So I usually never set this area, but we're gonna test it for anyone who wants to set their whole face. So I'm also applying it like directly, which is usually not the best idea if you set your face, but oh well. So let's just lightly tap over this. Okay, actually, that did a lot better than I expected. Like so far, I don't notice any patching, but we will have to see. And you can see I'm like putting like this many dots on my face. So that's how light this shade is. And I have a fair to light complexion. But yeah, actually when I put that much, it's definitely like pretty blushy now. Okay, so actually, I'm actually very surprised. Because I saw someone else do this and it didn't work over a set face for them. But for me, I don't notice any patching. Let me just blend out this edge, hold on. Because this is like looking a little bit harsh. I did add a ton of product also. So this also might be better to do with one of the deeper shades where you don't have to add as much product. The more product you add, the more likely it's gonna like break up something. I actually like don't notice any issues. Like I watched another person do this and they like their foundation started patching up. But for me, nothing bad happened. And yeah, it's actually like, it's a very even color and I added quite a bit of the blush. Like you guys saw how many dots I added. But yeah, like do you guys notice any issues? Because I don't. So I guess it's powder approved by me, but definitely tread with caution because I have seen other people have issues with that. Maybe it depends on the specific formulation you use too, like of your foundation and stuff. So it might depend on your specific base products, but at least for me personally, I didn't have any issues with it over powder. But yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that that worked. So anyways, I also wanted to point out that hopefully you guys can tell the powdered side looks more matte. Like it definitely has way less of a sheen. That's because there's less sheen to begin with, like on the skin. Whereas this unpowdered side, you can see that glow kind of. So that definitely confirms what I said earlier about how I think this blush formula just kind of reflects whatever products you have underneath it. So I really like that about this. I think that makes it a lot more versatile. And I think that this will also work for a lot more skin types. Like it's just not a super drying matte and it's also not super glowy either. So I think oily skin and dry skin will like this. I pretty much have no complaints actually. So we're gonna go into some swatch comparisons and then I'll meet back with you guys to discuss my final thoughts. So here's all my blush comparisons swatched together. I'm gonna pause briefly with all the labels just so you can see all the names together and everything. And then I'm gonna go into talking about each comparison. Okay, so the first comparison section is to Charlotte Tilbury Pink Pop. I would say Rare Beauty Bliss is a pretty spot on dupe. Like, they're basically the same thing. They both dried down completely to a matte finish. They're almost exactly the same shade. If anything, the Charlotte Tilbury one is like the tiniest bit brighter, whereas the Rare Beauty looks like it has a little bit more of a mutedness to it. But yeah, they're really, really similar. So if you already have Rare Beauty Bliss, you don't necessarily need the Charlotte Tilbury one. Then next up, I have a few Nars liquid blushes. So this is their new shade in Behave. I would say it's not super similar. It's a little bit more pink. So it has a little bit more mauve to it and brown. But the Nars liquid blushes do have a very similar finish in the sense that they start off really liquidy and almost oily feeling, and then they dry down completely to a matte. So this one is also Nars Sex Appeal. It's a lot lighter and peachier, so not really dupe in my opinion. The Nars blushes are also about like $10 cheaper, I think. And then we have Nars Orgasm Liquid Blush. So this one also dries down to a matte finish, but it has some shimmer particles in it, so it has some pearlescence. And I just wanted to compare this one to show you how peachy Charlotte Tilbury Pink Pop is, because it's literally a peach, basically. I brought out two different liquid blushes that I have that are very iconic pink shades, and the Charlotte Tilbury one is not pink in comparison. So yeah, Nars Orgasm Liquid Blush, not very similar. And this shade right here, I ran out of room. So this is Rare Beauty Happy. Happy is a dewy finish. As you can see, it never fully dries down, unlike Rare Beauty Bliss. So yeah, not similar to Happy at all. This really shimmery one is Charlotte Tilbury Peachgasm. So I just want to show you that it's about like a similar depth to Pink Pop, but it's very shimmery, so the finish is very different. I just wanted to show you. So now onto my more corally peachy tones. We have Charlotte Tilbury Peach Pop. So here I have Rare Beauty Peace, which was a limited edition shade, and it does seem that the Rare Beauty one is more orange than Peach Pop. So as I said earlier, Peach Pop is quite an orange peach, but the Rare Beauty ones are more orange. I do like that the Charlotte Tilbury one still has a little bit more like of a salmon undertone to it, whereas these Rare Beauty ones are straight up orange. So then we have this one, which is Rare Beauty Joy. But this one just has a lot more red to it. I was actually kind of surprised that these are more different than I expected. It seems that Charlotte Tilbury Peach Pop is like kind of in between Rare Beauty Peace and Joy. Like if you kind of mix these two colors and added a teeny bit of pink. But yeah, so not exact dupes. Also, these Rare Beauty ones are the dewy formula, not the matte. So it depends on if you like the matte or dewy formulation more. You can see that these Charlotte Tilbury ones are like fully dried down, whereas the Rare Beauty dewy ones definitely still have that sheen to them. And it's been already like over 10 minutes since I swatched these. And then we have Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm Wand. So this is like the iconic shade. Again, it is very shimmery, so not similar at all, but just wanted to show you for comparison's sake. And this would be a very pretty blush topper on top of like any of the new blushes. But yeah, just wanted to show you that this Pinkgasm shade is actually quite like a rosy shade. It definitely has some warmth and ruddiness to it compared to Nars Orgasm Liquid Blush. Anyways, now moving on to the more mauve tone blushes. So we have Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk Liquid Blush, and then we have these three Rare Beauty mauve shades. So again, these Rare Beauty ones are the dewy finish, so the finish is not the same and you can clearly tell. So that kind of depends on whether you like a dewy or matte finish more. Anyways, this is Rare Beauty Hope, Rare Beauty Encourage, and Rare Beauty Believe. So all of these are really similar. They're just kind of differ in like the depth and slightly in the undertone. And they're all really similar to Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk, but they're actually not exact dupes. The Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk has a bit more brown to it. Like I was thinking it would be very similar to one of these deeper mauve shades, but the Rare Beauty mauve shades have a bit more purple. So if you didn't like the purple undertone in the Rare Beauty ones, you might like the Charlotte Tilbury one better. It's a teeny bit warmer, but it's not actually warm because it still has like a mauve-ness to it. So I feel like it's kind of like if you mixed these shades and added some more brown to it, that would make the Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk. The only actual dupe I would say would be the Rare Beauty Bliss and Charlotte Tilbury Pink Pop. But other than that, there are some really similar shades, but they definitely have different finishes. And the Charlotte Tilbury is more like a mixture between shades. So I hope that was helpful and can help you determine if you want to add any of these blushes to your collection. So now let's just jump into my final thoughts. Okay, so to wrap up my final thoughts on these matte Pillowtalk Beauty Blush Wands, I just want to say that I actually am very impressed with this. Now, is this formula life-changing? No. But it is a very high quality, high performing blush formula in my opinion. And honestly exceeded my expectations because as you saw, it performed well over powder, it fully dries down, lasts a long time. Like there's pretty much no cons with this, at least none that I've experienced. So I definitely highly recommend if you find a shade that you really like, because I know that these are pricey, so you don't need to get like every shade. But yeah, like if you've been eyeing these, I don't think you'd be disappointed. I will say that like it's not like this is a revolutionary formula. So, you know, like I feel like my Rare Beauty blushes are very, very similar. And these are actually less pigmented than the Rare Beauty. So I feel like that will appeal to some people who thought the Rare Beauty was like too kind of crazy for them, or like if they couldn't get it to work for them. These are just really similar to the Rare Beauty matte ones, minus the amount of crazy pigment. So that could be a good or bad thing depending on what you like. The only thing I'll say is like I wish that they would expand the shade range because all the shades so far are like pretty warm, I would say. Especially this pink one, I thought it was gonna be a little bit cooler, like a more cool pink, but no, it is like warm. It's like a peach. Even with this Pillowtalk shade, at least on my skin tone, it blends out to be more of like a rosy brown on me, although on deeper or warmer skin it might appear more purple. Yeah, so I would love for them to come out with cooler shades or even more neutral shades, but I think just for right now, since it was the first launch, I think it's fine. Yeah, I literally just have no complaints. If you've been wanting to find a long lasting blush, this will definitely fulfill that. And also I love how like it fully sets down, so it's like all the pros of a cream blush minus all the cons of a cream blush. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with these. The only downside is like that hefty price tag, so you just got to decide if that's worth it for your collection or not. But for me, I'm very happy I picked these up. I also think I like these more than the Beauty Light ones, just because like the Beauty Light ones are very shimmery and glowy. Like these don't emphasize texture as much as those. And I like that you can use these in conjunction with the Beauty Light ones. So if you want a blush topper, you can add some more glow with that. So I like that you can just use this seamlessly with other Charlotte Tilbury products. So I hope today's video was helpful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and comment and subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps on my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.